wanted to give you a quick peek at our April 2025 trip. We're dodging storms, and so we headed to Wyoming, and we stayed at this quaint little town called Elk Mountain. And there's only 150 people on the last census, but 5 people have died since then or moved. And the hotel was built in 1908, and it's never burned down. And it looks like an old cowboy saloon to me with all the wallpaper, and it was just beautiful. And Rod said that was the best meal that he's ever had in his life. He was getting the last drip of that dressing out, and that artichoke dip was to die for, he thought, and his steak was the best he's ever had. So that was in Elk Mountain, and from there we took off to Nebraska to meet with the Cardoza and Bumgarner clan. So I'll show you what we have. Okay, I'm in the entry to the little hotel. Got their little phone here.
But it's amazing. Oh, my coat.
In Cheyenne, and they let him get up underneath them. Braking system. He carved these oxen here. He carved.
Goodness.
He was very.
Hi there, we just got to Nebraska. I'm going to show you a few little clips of some of the things that we did here, Mark's place, and some of the relatives that we got to see. See if you like it.
Very nice.
That's how you
I
do
sent a
sweet
bunch of
potatoes.
stuff out today.
Yeah, that's how you make slips.
Sweet potato slips.
What's a slip?
Once you're done, you
No, bought gaskets.
Oh.
You can still buy all the parts for these from Flywheel Supply.
They're going to make this into an ice
That's that's the handle to start it with.
Yeah, you don't want that to be out and hit you.
This is the magneto. This is the radiator right here. Just full
Where'd
of
you put
water.
the dog?
in the trailer.
Probably get it up to about 350. But if I really stoked up the fire, you could probably get 400 out of it.
I've never seen something.
And that's just an old wood stove.
So you're gonna put a finish on it or no?
The tank's gonna be black.
And it'll
trailer-
hold up okay?
High heat black. The trailer will be red, and then I may leave this kind of silver color. If not, I'll paint it red.
So Mark, explain that again.
Like natural, I mean, if it,
Explain what you're doing over here again so I can show my dad.
This is just a firebox. This is an old wood stove is what it was. And it had a rear exit for the chimney. So that worked out good. Just cut it into a propane tank. So you put your fire in here. Put your fire in there. And it goes all the way through and then back out the chimney.
now who did your plasma cut?
I had to do that down at B-Bar because they have a computer. But I do have a plasma. I could freehand, but it wouldn't come out this clean. When they finally started the bars, they were cheap.
Where's my little kid, Teresa? I see there's my little kid, Teresa. Hi. How are you? I'm okay. I'm going to turn this off.
Something beyond that. you know them or not. You need some more chairs?
Reach back. See if you can remember who I am.
You're Tammy.
Oh, gosh. I thought it was going to take you a minute at least. How are you?
I'm doing good.
What a beautiful place. I'm just telling my son.
2, 3.
They
So
put
that's
all,
probably
they
where your mom and dad would come and
get a hold of
There are a
it.
lot of books, but people are in here, they're not.
Was the other guy
gonna-
mad that he
They're
stole
doing
you
an
away?
excavator, but I'll back.
Tell her the real story.
Tell her the story.
Tell her the story.
Tell
Well,
them
everybody else knows the
Grandpa
Colonel.
was supposed to come and ask you out for his buddy.
Yeah.
Tell him that story. What were you doing? You were babysitting.
Come on, Mom, we wanna hear it.
We've all heard it, Tia.
How did it all start?
I don't remember.
Well, see, I babysat with some kids. Hodges was their name, Jerry Hodges, and so I babysat for them and stayed with them. And then, trying to think.
You were
Anyway.
weren't they kids from the base?
No,
I thought you said that one time.
no,
I thought you were a
I
dentist.
don't know. Anyway,
No, I had a
he come up to the door to ask me out, and I
The
was.
friend or Carl?
Carl. Carl came to ask for the friend.
Oh,
Yeah, and
took a little turn.
and the place where I was staying at had a swimming pool, so I come to the door in my bathing suit,
What color?
Yeah.
The blue bathing
the
suit.
blue bathing suit, a one piece, not a two piece. Anyway, he asked me out instead of the friend.
He was supposed to be asking for the friend, though. What happened there?
Yeah, he was supposed to ask.
Finally
me.
saw her and said, "I'm gonna take her for herself."
Friends like that.
He called the friend and said sorry.
Yeah,
He said she's spoken for. What about your heel? Didn't he
Yeah, when did your
It
high
was
heel
probably
get
like
stuck,
something
Mom?
about Mary.
was at the base.
Oh, she's
Oh.
terrible. Yeah.
at the base,
Yeah,
they had a plank floor,
yeah.
and I went up there just to talk to him, I guess. Well, my heel got stuck in between two boards,
Conveniently.
so.
Now there was
He come-
something, Mom, about Dad was in a car that actually belonged to another gal.
Oh yeah.
Grandpa
he?
was engaged.
He would go clear to LA every weekend because he had a girlfriend down there.
Yeah.
I thought they were engaged.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
So it was her car though that he was in, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Taking you out in her car.
yeah, it was crazy.
Oh yeah.
Well, it worked.
And it was love.
Little home wrecker.
I guess it was just meant to be, huh?
Just meant
It
to
was
be.
meant to be.
Meant to be in the peach orchard.
You're getting a spanking, man.
I haven't heard anything about Peach Orchard.
No,
I don't know if
let's
you'll get her
not
to tell that
embarrass
story.
Oh
We
God.
always
they got
used
married
almond
on the
orchards 'cause we didn't have a lot of
base.
peaches left.
Right?
Oh,
Yes.
really?
Yes.
Castle Air Force Base.
Castle
Yes.
Air Force Base.
In fact, when we went to that air show, the chapel's still there.
Oh, is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I wonder why I wasn't invited to that. Kids weren't invited.
No one was. Who was?
Oh,
Elope.
Who stood up for me?
Oh, I
so it
have
was a
no
quick
clue,
one.
Mom.
oh, you weren't there?
It was in a Jewish chapel, wasn't it?
A
Huh?
Jewish
It
chapel.
was in a
It was in the
Jewish
base
chapel.
chapel.
It
Yeah.
was a Jewish chapel,
Here,
though.
Chris.
Oh, it was Donna and John. Was with me.
Mom and Dad?
Yeah.
Because Mom was dating somebody in the Air Force too at the same time, wasn't she? It was like,
Could be. I don't remember.
So were they just
It's
dating
been-
them when they stood up for them?
I'm not
My
sure.
sister is Emma's mom, Carrie.
I seem to remember her, she was dating somebody in the Air Force too.
There's Aaron,
Three boys.
No, that was one of your other sisters.
Aaron, Anson, me.
I don't remember.
Carrie.
That what, stood up?
No, one of the other sisters, Mom introduced to somebody in the Air Force also. Because Mom was dating somebody in the Air Force.
One of the Cardozas?
That I don't remember.
No, Mom wasn't dating somebody in the Air Force.
Mom's got some pretty good stories. Dad was kind of
It's hard to remember.
Yeah. One of the favorites is when Dad was at the Foxy Lady
What's a foxy?
The Foxy Lady, the bar, you know, the Foxy
Mom
Lady.
introduced her brother
And
to one of the
and Mom, it was Aaron's birthday.
What's that?
Mom introduced
So,
her brother to one
Mom
of
went
the
looking for
sisters
Dad
who was
and
at.
found him at the Foxy Lady.
Dawn,
And
she
so
introduced
Mom
her to
went
one.
clicking in there and tapped him on the shoulder, and he turned around and she hauled off and slapped him across the face. Hat went flying.
Yep.
And
I
he,
took off.
yep, and then he's like, guys, I think I better go.
See you later, Foxy Lady.
For Aaron, and he never showed up, and I found out he was down at the bar.
Sure enough.
Took care of that.
Huh?
You took care of that. So
Yep.
did he come join the party?
Yep.
Where was the fox?
I got to get this story from my dad.
Yeah, but
Unspeakable content could be found on the screen.
but anyway, I remember when Grandma Hulsa, when she come up the driveway. So what would her husband? What was
John?
John? Okay, yeah. But I do remember. I don't remember the car, but I remember her looking at me, and man, I was scared to death when I seen her staring at me like, what the heck are you doing up there, boy? And but I just remember driving that old, I think it was a D17 Alice, little tractor, and she kind of scared me. She was kind of.
I think I could whip her.
You think you could take her? I don't know. I'm not sure I'd have tried it.
There's a lot of elm out here.
I jumped in there. I was driving, and I don't know how they let us out of the yard, but it was me and I think little Frankie and maybe. Now this is where, like you were saying, your age starts getting to you. There's about 6 of us in this car, and you remember get around there by that Noon's Dairy back there. Do you remember that new one they put up back there? Well, we drove clear to the end of that road, a little blacktop road, and I slammed on the brakes, and I said, well, this is the end of the line. And I thought I'd be a big shot, and I put that old Ford Galaxy in reverse and just punched it.
So cool.
And we were doing about 50 mile an hour backwards down that road. 6 of these little kids in there, and I wasn't
That's
very
the
old.
2?
Yeah, it's tied in.
And that old car got the whipping. I kind of turned too much one time. I had her under control good, and somebody must have hit the steering wheel, or surely I didn't screw it.
No.
And we got to whipping back and forth.
And it just gets worse and worse and worse.
We finally got that baby slid sideways and stopped in the deal in the street. And I looked at everybody in there, and they were all like, and I said, "This stays right here."
Right here in the car.
And Frankie was with you?
Little Frank.
Little Frankie. Silva.
Oh, yeah. See, I
Right.
missed them.
Yeah.
They were too young for me.
I gotta use the restroom. Where's that?
Yeah.
Here's the end of our chapter of Nebraska. Out here by the wind chimes that Mark says Dad made from pipes from the ranch. So I'll give you a little play here. That's the only noise you hear out here besides birds. Hope you like Nebraska.
Hi, Sandy.
Thanks, Mark, for everything.
Welcome.
Thank Kelly for us too.
Anytime.
Might be seeing you again.